Welcome in. This is The Metricality, where I don't argue talent. I study execution. Tonight's episode is mainly about one game, Arkansas versus Arkansas State, and what actually decided it. Because this wasn't a talent gap game, and it wasn't an effort game. It wasn't a game Arkansas needed to survive. It was a game Arkansas should have controlled. This one is going to be like an autopsy report. Not because it was ugly, but because it was preventable. From an efficiency standpoint, Arkansas had the edge. From a matchup standpoint, Arkansas had the answers. And from a win condition standpoint, this game was there to be separated, not chased. And I'll say this plainly, as a fan, this one was disappointing. Not because Arkansas isn't good enough, but because the pathway was clear, and it never changed. This isn't about blame. It's about alignment. Talent isn't the question. Execution is. Let's get into it. From a Ken Palm standpoint, Arkansas has the clear edge here. They're sitting at about plus 15.5 in net efficiency. Arkansas State is closer to plus 7.5. That's a real gap. And when you look at where the edge comes from, it's consistent across the board. Over the season, Arkansas scores more efficiently. They turn it over less. And they rebound better on both ends of the floor. Now that's for over the season, not for this last game. And another important thing they do that matters late is they shoot about 75% at the free throw line, while Arkansas State is closer to 65%. That's a closing time advantage. But, and this is key here, that free throw gap only shows up if the game stays structured. Once the game tilts into chaos, that edge disappears. From a style standpoint, these two teams should be trying to do opposite things. I don't know if Arkansas actually had a game plan. Arkansas State wants chaos. They play fast, they force turnovers, nearly half their shots are threes, and they live off points created by pressure and mistakes. That is their game. Arkansas doesn't need chaos to win. They need structure. If Arkansas would have controlled possessions, finished defensive rebounds, and plays through contact, they would have separated. And since they didn't, Arkansas State became dangerous. Now, before the game, in a previous podcast, I listed the 6 win conditions Arkansas had in order to win. They didn't need to hit all 6 of them, but there were 6. The first one was take care of the ball. 2, own the offensive glass. 3, get production from the bench. 4, make free throws. 5, limit Arkansas State's threes. And 6, keep the game structured into the second half. If they would have hit all 6, it wouldn't have been a game. In my model, when they hit all 6, they win 95% of the time with a median margin of 18. That is separation. When they start missing them, chaos decides it. And Arkansas State lives off chaos, where it broke. And here is the critical part. Arkansas never exited chaos. They didn't drift into it late. They didn't slowly lose control. They started in it, they stayed in it, they finished the game in it. And the clearest single decision that ensured that was Robinson playing in the entire second half in a role she cannot execute under pressure. That one choice does 3 things immediately. First, it breaks condition number 1, taking care of the ball. Second, it undermines condition number 3, bench production and flexibility. And third, it guarantees failure of condition number 6, keeping the game structured. And I just don't understand why they would have her continually bring up the ball when she would drive to the sideline and basically invite herself to get trapped. She clearly was not a fit for that role. Once this happens, the model doesn't matter anymore because it collapses. Arkansas never played the game according to their terms. The entire game was played Arkansas State's way. The bench reality. And this is where frustration sets in as a fan, because it wasn't a thin roster day for Arkansas. There were capable bodies on the bench. They had speed options, length options. They had pressure-tolerant options. Players like Golia, Bates, Sanchez, Rodriguez, who showed she can stabilize possessions. She only got a little over 7 minutes. Archer only got 4 minutes, I believe. And Golia, Bates, Sanchez didn't get any minutes, while one player carried 34 minutes in a role the game clearly rejected. That's not about trust. That's about inflexibility. And against a chaos team, inflexibility is fatal. And I want to be precise here because this matters. When I was looking at Robinson, and I'm also going to mention Clarkson, when I was watching the game film, specifically I was looking at their drives, the baskets allowed, just data points. I wasn't grading effort. I wasn't grading toughness. I was tracking data points to see if they were fit in their role and if they were fit against this opponent. In the first half, Clarkson allows multiple baskets, struggles to recover in space, and there was a speed mismatch at times. Robinson repeatedly drove the ball, even against one defender, to the right sideline every single time. She was basically inviting traps. Once they saw her struggle and go to a sideline, which you should not dribble to unless you're trying to trap yourself, she has the whole court, then a second defender comes up. She could not handle this role, and she played this role for a lot of the game. Robinson also allowed points, allowed drives. She has the worst help side I've ever seen. She has her back completely to the man she's guarding. She just ball watches. And against Arkansas State's pace, that matchup is immediately stressed, especially in transition and on secondary actions. And that's where the rotation question comes in. Because Clarkson starts and plays about 12 minutes. Golia never sees the floor. She's the other center. Now, this isn't saying Golia automatically fixes everything. But when you watch the game, it shows early that this matchup is struggling. And when you have another center available, you expect at least a look at it. Especially when you have a player as talented as Golia. And especially against a chaos team. Because rotations are not about loyalty or seniority. They're about who can survive the environment this particular game creates. And in this game, Arkansas never tested alternatives. This isn't personal. Robinson and Clarkson have value and roles on the team. They are just in the wrong roles. Robinson can catch and pass. She can make quick reads. She had a great bounce pass in the paint. And she can hit shots when she's set. Those are real skills. What she can't do is initiate offense against live pressure. She keeps getting herself in traps and struggles getting out of them. And she cannot survive repeated ball entry stress. And Arkansas kept asking her to do exactly that. That is not an execution failure. That's a role misalignment. And Clarkson has value in her size, in her offense, and would be great in controlled minutes as foul relief for interior players. The second half reality. Arkansas may have lost the game in the first half, but they didn't make the right adjustments for the second half. When Robinson plays the full second half in the role she's not suited for, this pattern is predictable. Turnovers pile up. Pace never stabilizes. Arkansas State keeps getting transition threes, and Arkansas never gets into its free throw and rebounding advantage. At that point, you're not closing a gap. You are chasing. Chaos loves teams that chase. So here's the takeaway. This game was completely winnable. They should have won. If Arkansas would have aligned roles with their win conditions. The model didn't overestimate Arkansas. It correctly identified what Arkansas refused to do. And chaos doesn't forgive that. Coming out of the Arkansas State loss, the lesson isn't effort or toughness. It's environment. That game showed us what happens when chaos goes unchecked early. Vanderbilt is a different opponent, but the pressure point is the same. They don't force chaos the way Arkansas State does. They punish it when it happens. So this next matchup isn't about resetting emotionally. It's about correcting structurally. Because the things that hurt us against Arkansas State are the exact things Vandy turns into separation. Vanderbilt wins with efficiency stacking, not bursts. They're elite in 4 areas: shot quality, offensive rebounding, assist rate, and low turnover play. They don't rush possessions. They don't gamble defensively. And they don't beat themselves. If you give them extra possessions, if you allow clean second chances, if you lose discipline on secondary actions, they don't go on highlight runs. They separate quietly. This is not a team you can beat with your energy effort. They're not going to win this game by playing harder for 5 minutes. Arkansas only wins it by executing better for 40. Where the game breaks down. There are 3 danger zones in this game, and they show up early. Number 1 is transition defense. Not the first sprint, the second and third decisions after the sprint. Number 2, secondary action coverage. The first stop is not the end of the possession against Vandy. And number 3, offensive rebounding after misses. That's where their efficiency compounds. Vanderbilt does their damage after the first action. Missed assignments don't show up immediately. They show up on the next pass, the next cut, the next crash. That's why early chaos is lethal in this matchup. If Arkansas is down 6-8 early, it's not the score that hurts. It's the possession math. Because one extra possession starts stacking. Vanderbilt doesn't need a run. They just separate. Who Arkansas's starting 5 should be against Vandy. And this isn't about effort. It's not about toughness. It's about matchup survival. Vanderbilt stresses 3 things consistently: lateral recovery, space defense, and transition decision making. So any lineup Arkansas uses has to do 3 things well. First, they have to survive early pace, not speed the game up, not chase it, just absorb it. Second, they have to recover cleanly on secondary actions. The first stop is not enough against this opponent. And third, they have to finish defensive possessions. No leaks, no second chances. If a matchup is struggling early, they can't wait for them to settle it. This opponent does not allow that luxury. Arkansas doesn't need perfection in this game. They need early stability. I have identified 6 win conditions Arkansas must hit to beat Vandy. This is the pathway, backed by data. Number 1, Arkansas has to get 14 or less turnovers. Live ball turnovers fuel Vandy's efficiency. Every 3 turnover swing costs Arkansas roughly 6 to 7% in win probability. Number 2, defensive rebounding has to be a wall. 1 shot and done. Good defense means nothing if it isn't finished. Number 3, free throw pressure without foul chaos. They don't need volume, they need efficiency. Missed free throws reopen the door in this matchup. Number 4, limit transition leaks. Sprint discipline matters more than gambling. Give up nothing easy. Number 5, secondary action. The first stop is not enough. They have to communicate, they have to switch with purpose and switch defensively correctly, and they have to finish the possession. And number 6, structure into the final 6 minutes. If this is a 1 or 2 possession game late, Arkansas's alive. If they are chasing, they are done. If they hit all 6, they will control the game. If they miss 2 or more, chaos will decide it. Now, let's get back to the lineup that I mentioned before. And this is where lineup choice matters. With Arkansas's normal starting group, they will enter chaos early. They will have to hit more of those win conditions to feel safe. 6 out of 6 to have the probability on their side. With the ideal starting 5 for against Vanderbilt, which is Gallia, Dees, Jones, Rodriguez, and Mayberry, they will reduce early stress points. This will not raise the ceiling. It will raise the floor. Fewer transition leaks, more finished possessions, more structure early. That difference shows up directly in probabilities. Now, what the data shows. With the normal starting 5 group, if they hit 6 out of 6, they have about an 80% probability to win. If they hit 5 out of 6, they're just below 60% probability to win. 3 out of 6, they're chasing, probabilities not on their side. If they hit 1 out of 6, it's not even competitive. It's not a game. Now, when we use the ideal starting group in the model, the curve shifts. When they hit 6 out of 6, it jumps from about 80% to right above 90% probability of winning. Now, when the ideal groups hits 5 out of 6, they're at about 70%. Now, This is the most interesting. If they only hit 3 of 6, they are still alive with the starting group in this model, but fragile. So using this starting 5, they can hit 3 of 6, still be alive, but fragile. If they hit 1 of 6, it's not even competitive at all. This is a step function game, not a gradient. And against Vanderbilt, small mistakes don't stay small. They compound fast. This game isn't about proving toughness. It's about proving discipline. Arkansas doesn't need runs. They need possessions. If they protect the environment early, the game stays in their control. If Arkansas lets it become chaotic, Vandy will quietly walk away with it. This is a structure test. I'll be back with another podcast episode after the game to break it all down. This is the Metricality, where I talk data, not vibes.